Hi everybody, welcome back to Sean's World. Now today you join me in my garden. It's a beautiful sunny day, birds are singing, spring is here, and I am going to build a greenhouse. Now I'm going to build this with budget in mind, of course. I'm going to use recycled materials, some I'm going to have to buy. But I come out here very early this morning, I got stuck into it, I've cut trees down, started digging, and I thought, wait one moment, maybe my viewers will want to see me do this, so let me tell you all about it. I found a location against a solid wall, which is always good for retaining heat. The sun comes up this side and comes over, so the majority of the sunshine it gets all day long, and then when it's too hot it gets a little bit of shade behind some trees. So that's always number one, really. Priority is whereabouts you position it. So I'm going to show you whereabouts mine is going to be. So the wildlife pond is positioned to the left, and the greenhouse is going to go against this solid wall here, right the way across. That's my wood store that used to be the pig barn. That's my wood store now, no piggies in there today. And from this marker to the other marker is going to be the boundary of the greenhouse. The monopitch roof is going to go the same as the wood store, only it's going to be in plexi plastic, so let plenty of sunshine in. And I've got to dig all this out. Now this is going to take some doing. I've only just recovered from COVID, so things are a little bit hard going for me at the moment, but you've got to push through with these things. I'm okay, it's just it knocks your fitness down a peg or two, really. So I'm not going to do it all in a few days. I'm going to pace myself, so I'll film the progress as I go along. I think I'll start cleaning the pond out just before I start on this. I've pegged it out, clear the pond out, sit down, have a cup of tea, and then plan the rest of the day out. The base where the greenhouse was going was up to my chest in brambles, so what I had to do was go around there with hand shears first, get it down, make sure the little frog wasn't anywhere to be seen before I could do any strimming. So I was happy that he wasn't there. I think he's over that side somewhere, so hopefully he's found a mate. And he was calling all last year, but did anyone come to his aid? I don't think so. Anyway, there's always another year. Let's get this cleaned out. There's some leaves in there and bits and pieces that I want to get on top of. And yeah, so right, let's go. Brambles. If you have too much decaying leaves and greenery in there, it gives the water too much nutrients, and that's why you get a build up of algae and the water goes green. So what I keep meaning to try and put in there, I can't find it yet, is barley straw. Apparently when the barley straw breaks down, it feeds off the algae and that clears the pond. We'll give that a go this year, I think. Yeah, just stick that over there, please. Yeah, put that down and move that over there. I wish. So I've just completed the trench where the blocks are going, and when I've come to the end I've hit something very hard. I've managed to get it out the ground, and I think I'll show you what I mean. These holes here, we've had the iron bars, safety bars, back in the days. We're talking sort of 300 years ago, so I think this is a piece of the lintel, window lid, can't even speak properly. I think this is a piece of the window lintel that come out of that building there. It's had some red brick reveals put in and a red brick seal, but I believe when they done this probably 100 odd years ago, they took that piece of lintel out, so it makes sense that they've just dumped it on the pile over there. Doesn't look very exciting, but it's nice to know where it came from. Yeah, it would have been sort of about that long. There's lots of other big pieces of stone in there. Originally this mound was probably about this high, and there was parts of the cider press, the stone troughs in there. It was a bit of a dumping ground, but a nice feature. And what they would have done, they would put the bars in and melted some lead around them just to keep them in place. So I've just finished my lunch, but the weather's turned, and I'm afraid rain has stopped play on that project for today, so let's go and have a look and see how far I've got with it. These are some of the huge pieces of stone that I've dug out of there. That took some doing, but I got there. So the little footing is basically dug out. I'm going to get that filled, get me blocks in. Now, as I explained before, over against the wall here, I'm going to have another dwarf wall Coming up a couple of courses, and that's going to be filled with cow manure, which is like a hotbed, and then you can plant on top, and that keeps the greenhouse in the winter just a few degrees, hopefully above freezing. So we're going to halt on this project today. I've got some stuff indoors to show you, and just have to wait for the weather to change. It changes very quickly, so I'll be back out here tomorrow. But before I head back in, Sam tells me that we've got some newts in the pond now. That's a first for us this year. So another great addition to the wildlife pond. Still not seen me little froggy though. Maybe it's too early. I've just got a lovely aroma. Sam's doing a chicken and leek homemade pie, and it's wafting out all over the place. She looks after me. In we go.
Just finishing off the pie with an egg wash. Makes the pastry go nice and golden and crispy.
Yep. Gives it a few extra calories, just in case it was lacking any.
Well, if you're worrying about calories, you'd better not eat this pie.
Wow, look at this. If it looks good before it's cooked, it normally is. Delicious. That should stick to me ribs. So the chef's just sent me back out in the rain. She wants some fresh cow, so I'd like to know where there is some. Follow me. Birdies. Now this cow we planted probably 3 years ago, and it's perpetual. It just self-seeds and comes back again and again. So it's a great option for your garden. Look at this. Colour on them. All organic, no pesticide sprays. Just let nature do its stuff. If you lose a little bit, it don't matter. Just plant a bit extra. They're nice. See, all ready to self-seed. Right. Fresh tender tips I think we'll need as well. Different colours. I better get this right, otherwise she'll send me back out. Here we go. Fresh tender shoots. But while I'm going back, I'll just show you a few more projects I've got on the go. Just doing another bed here. What I plan to do is just shape it around the outside so it can be cut easily with my ride on. Just extending around there. Another recent addition is this gravel path, and I shall be extending it through there. She doesn't like me walking in freshly mown grass, so my mission this year is to put in a few paths. Never upset the chef, especially when you're as greedy as me. Right, here we go. Now for the next project I've got in mind indoors, I'm doing a ceiling at the top of the stairwell, and I'm just trying to see what materials I've got. I think I've got some cladding left over from a job I've done. Oh yeah, this is the type of cladding I'm going to be using on the ceiling. Yep, should have enough there. I'll have a measure up and I'll get started. So let's just get measured up. Perfect. So I'm just cutting this one down lengthways. What that does, I've measured it out so that it's an even spacing either side, so because you don't want a little sliver one side and a big piece the other side, it won't look right. So it takes a little bit longer, but it's a better job. I'm going to cut 5 in one go. Speeds up the process, but you've got to be sure of your measurements. Measure twice, cut once. Fingers crossed. So less than an hour into the job, I've already done over half. It's a great material to use, very easy to cut, very lightweight. It's waterproof, which means it's ideal for these sort of attic areas where you get a bit of humidity. If you get any leaks through your roof, it won't affect it. If you've got plasterboard up and you get a leak, sometimes you can't find it, ruins your plasterboard. So I've used this system for probably at least 20 years now. Used it in all my properties. Yeah, it's really easy. No painting afterwards neither. Once it's up, that is it. A little bit of trimming and you're good to go. So probably got another 4 or 5 pieces, less than half an hour, and this little section of ceiling will be completed. Now, because I'm working on my own, what I've done, I've put a L-shaped return on this end, just slightly low enough so that the PVC goes in above that, so you don't need to be at 2 ends at once. And then when it comes to fixing, they do come with clips, but I prefer for speed to use dry lining screws. There's no weight in it, it helps speed the job along. This one has got like a semi-gloss finish, which is ideal for reflecting light. Get these other ones in and that'll be me done for the day. So that is it. It took me probably about an hour to get the boards up. A little bit of trimming to go around the edges. Other than that, probably 2 hours start to finish. So yeah, a very worthwhile job. And it means that I can carry on with the greenhouse once it stops raining. Yep, it looks like the sun's coming out now. I've just been to the local builder's yard to get some blocks. Probably got to make another trip back there later on. Let me show you the progress so far. So what I've managed to do in between the showers is get the footing dug out. I'm going to set some blocks in there, that will be the base, and what I plan to put on top of them is I'm going to upcycle these doors. Now, like I said before, these were freebies. They were put to one side from a window fitting firm that has recently put some new doors in a property, so they give these away for free, so I always pop in there and see them. So we got those, we're going to upcycle those. They're going to be tipped on their side and they're going to be the windows. So that is a money saving little tip. So my next job is to go and pick up some aggregate so it can go into the bottom of the footing. Now the problem is the car that I normally use is out of action with me trailer. Normally when I'm in a situation like this and I can't use my car and trailer, which I've done previously, is always ask at the local builders merchants, because sometimes they hire out their tipper truck. Now I rented this out last time and it was something like €6 each trip, so I used it twice, €12, a couple of ton. For ages I've been shoveling it off my trailer when I could have just asked and used their tipper, but hey ho, I asked this morning, it's not available today, so I'm going to put some in the back of my other vehicle, but I'm going to put it in buckets. So I'm going to have a little stroll around my property, see how many buckets and things I can find, and then go and get it. So that should do me. I've got over 12 buckets. I don't need too much for this particular phase of the footing, so just enough to get a few inches down and yeah, get those blocks set on there. Right, this is the stuff I need. I better get shoveling. This should work the lunch off. So what I'm doing now, I'm pouring in the foundation mix. It's a dry mix. I'm using slate to level them up as well. Measuring off my wall to make sure it's all nice and square. Makes it much easier when you go to fit roof panels that are obviously dead square. So the sun has come out. It's a beautiful, glorious day now. Perfect for digging. So that's what I've been doing for the last few hours. I thought I'd film after I'd got a few of the large boulders out, but this one's putting up the fight. You can see it's quite large, and the bar on it. It appears that the whole area is full of these huge stones, which is good because I can recycle them and use them somewhere, but it does slow progress down a little bit. So what I've decided to do with all the earth that I'm digging out in that area, I'm going to bring it forward, ramp this area off because it was quite low here, so a good bit of reuse of the soil. To the right is going to have a double course and there's going to be a bed in there, not for me to sleep on but for the tomatoes, and then to the left just a single course of blocks through there, and that's going to be a lower bed there. Then to the centre is going to be the path, and then probably at the back that's going to be blocks off, and maybe a bench or something to do me potting up on there. So that's the general idea. So yeah, it's coming along really, really good. Now last year when I started, I made a nice little stone path, meanders down into the dell area. So I'm going to extend the path. This area here, all the rainwater from the roof, what doesn't go into the pond, kind of lies in this low depression here. So what I plan to do is extend the stone path through the centre, and then either side I'm going to create a bog garden. Now that's just a simple method of lining it out with sort of almost non-pervious material, but you spike it so it slowly drains, put some soil in, and it gives you an extra habitat to grow different bog plants. So that's the plan with that. So I'm really pleased with how it's coming along. That's enough of me talking. Time for me to get back to work. This is what I mean. That's a small one. Anyway, it gives me some extra free materials. I've just found another 2 massive great stones. Beautiful pieces, but you've got to move them. I just hope them tomatoes taste nice. Camera's got a mind of its own today. Tea time. So the sun's out, I'm out. Let's go and have a look and see what I've been up to. Believe it or not, all of these huge boulders come out of the ground there. I've dug the base out level now, just got to do a little bit more weeding, membrane's going down. Now this is the retaining walls, this is the plate for the windows to sit on. We've got a little bit of a deviation from plan. I was originally going to use those doors there, cut them down, put them on their side for the windows, but I've done a few more measurements and some alterations and they're not suitable. But anyway, I've got another 2 windows that will go in their place, not a problem. You know, this happens when you're sort of building without a plan and sort of a little bit ad hoc really, which is fine when you're using recycled materials. You know, you have to adapt it. It's no problem. Like I say, I've got some windows that I've got off of another job anyway, so I haven't gone out and bought them. So it's part of the plan still to keep the costs down. Against the wall here, we've got a 2-course concrete block retainer that's going to be filled up. I'm going to go and get some cow manure in a moment, put in the bottom there. Now what that does, that will break down. By the time winter time comes, that will keep the temperature just above freezing hopefully in the greenhouse. I think they used to call it a hotbed or something like that, but don't Google that. Anyway, that's that. The other side will be pretty much the same. Tomatoes are probably going to go against the wall this year. As you know, food prices are going through the roof, and it's always good to know what you're eating. You don't want to eat loads of pesticides and chemicals. You know exactly what goes into it, so it's worth the small investment initially. I mean, now I can start growing melons. Never have no luck with tomatoes, always get blight outside. So I can grow melons, peppers, all the things that are quite expensive in the supermarkets and markets. So just give it a go. Packet of seeds. If it don't come, hey, what you lost, packet of seeds. So that's where I am at the moment. My next step will be, like I say, get the membrane down so it's not so muddy, because we do still get the rain. Then I'll start building the framework to take the roof and set the framework out for the windows. So see you in the next sketch.